BEERMKR here on the BEERMKR. Today's recipe is the Redwood IPA. Alright, so I just watched some of the instructional videos that they have actually on the app. So what's really cool is when you sign into the BEERMKR app, it connects to the BEERMKR, which then helps me connect it to the Wi-Fi. So now this is on Wi-Fi. Everything's set up in the app. It shows, I set it up as the Might Be Brews maker, is the name for the machine, which was kind of cool. But there's a whole list of setup videos, brewing videos, extra guides that you can read through. So there's a ton of stuff built in here. But I am going to, the status on here says that it's ready to brew. So I'm going to go ahead and click it and see if I can start a beer. Oh, also, there's a store on here, which I thought was really neat. So right within the app, you can go in and you can buy more maker kits. So I ordered Future IPA and the Kolsch. So it's already been shipped to me. I ordered it on the app yesterday. So I'm excited for that to show up. This Redwood IPA is like a hoppy West Coast. We'll go through the ingredients and the setup process here too. But I thought it's neat that the store is built right into the app. So, oh, by the way, so you can get the kits. You can also buy the pre-portioned ingredients. So if you want to buy just extra hops, extra dry hops, extra, whatever, grains and things like that, you can do that and then make your own recipe too. Or just follow the instructions. Everything's got the weights on it. Buy this stuff from wherever you want and, just portion it out with the recipes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the BEERMKR. And, okay, this is interesting. Vibration settings. I'm going to open this up and see if you guys can see it. All right, I think there's two up here and one down here on the bottom. You see that silver plate? Those are some kind of agitators or vibrators. So you can set quiet times so that it doesn't, do it in the middle of the night or something like that. So it's defaulting from midnight to 8 a.m. I'm okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and just move on and hit save. All right, and we're going to start a maker kit. All right, so it shows me all the beer options here. I'm going to scroll down to the one that we're doing, the Redwood IPA. And it shows me the estimated timeline, all right? So this is kind of interesting. We're going to start today by doing the brew setup. We're going to put all the grains in. We're going to put the water in. We're going to get it ready. I just started auto-playing a video for me. All right, but in 24 hours, it's going to ask me to pitch the yeast and add hops. So kind of interesting. I mean, you're used to doing everything so close together, home brewing, right? So 24 hours from when I add the water, it's going to do its thing. And then we're going to end up pitching and adding hops 24 hours later. All right, then it looks like you've got another 4 days or so to then dry hop it. So as it's fermenting, it says it wants a total of 10 days to ferment. But, maybe, what's it, on day 6, dry hop. Day 12, transfer the beer and carbonate it. By day 13, you should be able to drink it. So doesn't really take that long. It seems pretty easy. All right, so I've opened it up. All right, so now it's walking me through the steps. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what I've done so far because I jumped ahead a little bit. All right, this is your beer bag. The beer bag comes, comes with the kit. But these white valves are reusable. There's one on either side. All right. The valves are actually going to connect to other pieces, to other valves. All right. So you screw them onto the bag, but you have to be careful not to, you want to get it tight, but you don't want to rip this plastic. So you get it on there nice and tight. There's also a servo myosis pill that is already in here. So I already dropped it in the bag. You have to do that before you add the valve on, because once the valve's on, it's only going to let liquid through. All right, so that's what I've done is I've already dropped the little servo pill down into the bag. And so now I'm going to install the bag. I'm going to turn this thing so I can get into it. Hopefully you guys can still see what I'm doing a little bit. Here's the brew tub. I'm going to move this back here for a second. All right, so Let's open this puppy up. All right, and then the bag, there's a couple little hooks to hook onto in the back of here. That's where the bag goes, and it's going to hang there. Pop this lid and take the lid off completely. All right, and here's what we're going to do. This is the waste bag. The waste bag also has a connection for a valve. The gray valve goes on here. There's two gray valves. One's going on the waste bag. The other one goes onto the tub. So it's actually a quick connection here. You can see the white tab here. I'm just going to grab it on the flanges and push it in. And there it goes. I heard it click. So it looks nice and sturdy. I'm going to set that down there on the bottom. I'm going to come back to my brew tub. So you be careful when you push it in that it makes a nice connection and it seeps right into that little piece that's sticking out. All right, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to hook up the bag to the gray valve that's at the bottom of this brew basket here. Bam. All right. So nice and connected. Everything looks nice and straight, nice and tight. So it looks good in there. Now, because I have everything connected, I'm going to put the squeeze plate on. All right, so let me show you what it looks like in here for a second. All right, so here's the brew tub that has the brew basket in it where all of the ingredients are going to go. All right, there's the gray valve there that connects to the bag. The squeeze plate is holding everything down. And then at the bottom, there's the separate bag. See that? And that's connected with the valve also. All right, so the first thing they say to do is to use about half the water, or 3,000 liters. This recipe calls for 6,800 liters. I'm going to put half of that in the system now before any of the ingredients. All right. So here it comes. It's pretty full. I saw the guy do this, right? So I'm going to be over. I'm going to have the bottom of this water container over this because I'm sure it's going to run down as I'm pouring it. I'm going to pour it slow so I don't splash too much, hopefully. All right. So this is actually going to run down all the way into the waste bag and into the brew bag. And what's nice is this is going to be a good way to check for your leaks if there are any before you get too far along. All right. So now that's all in there. Yep, so the bottom's filled up pretty well. Yep, looks like we got a good amount of water in there. It's still trying to find its way down into the bag. All right, so now I believe we are ready to start adding ingredients. Good. Now it's up to grain. So for this recipe, for the grain, we have 2 bags of 2-row barley. All right, that weighs out to 500 grams each, 1,000 grams total. Let's try to open this thing up and pour it in. Kind of like that everything's pre-portioned like this. I mean, I guess if I got a kitchen scale and, you know, a couple containers and stuff, it wouldn't be that bad, but you just don't even have to think about it, really. All right, here goes the other 2-row barley. Man, that smells good. All right, so I'm going to put in my grain wheat malt. That's how it's labeled, grain wheat malt, 200 grams. Make that hole a little bigger. I can do better than this. All right. All right, they do say at this step, as you're adding the grains, it's okay to touch the inside of it. It is going to do a pasteurization pasteurization process. So it's okay if you do touch the inside of this brew tub at this point. When we get to pitching yeast and dry hops and stuff, adding the hops, we're going to have to be careful, all right? So I'm just going to mix this up, flatten it out a little bit. All right, awesome. Now, add the rest of the water. All right, so here's my other 3,400 milliliters. Not used to metric. All right, so I'm going to pour this puppy in here. There we go. I'm going to try to mix it around a little bit. Get some, I don't know if it matters, but try to get some even hydration maybe. Yeah, this thing gets right up to the top. All right. Water is in. So let's see what happens. Close up the BEERMKR. That's what's next. And look, just to show you, I'm following right along. There's instructions step by step on how to do things. You can't really mess this up, it looks like. We'll see. If anybody can mess it up, it'll be me. But we'll see. The other thing I've noticed is this brew tub is kind of hard to close. There's some thick gaskets on it. I mean, I think they're pretty serious here about making sure that this thing closes and stays nice and tight. We've got this thing closed up. Everything's nice and tight. You can already see the water getting cloudy here in the bag. All right, so let's put the lid on. There we go. Lid on the hinges. Push that down and then pop this baby in here. All right. There's a guy, Brett, that does videos on here. Does a pretty good job. All right, malt's in, water's in. Close the BEERMKR. Now touch done on the instructions below. Then push the button on the front of the machine. The button should change from blinking white to pulsing white. This is a slow fading in and out. This may take a few seconds as your BEERMKR communicates with our servers. All right, so I'm going to hit done. And then I'm going to push this in. Oh, you hear that? I'm not sure exactly what it is, but a fan or something just turned on. So one of the things that I found kind of interesting about this is this whole thing is actually really well insulated, and there's a heat exchanger inside. After doing some research, I think the guy that invented this invented something called the brew jacket, which I think is pretty popular. I have heard of it before, but it's like a submersible like heat exchanger. It's a submersible way to keep your beer at certain temperatures. So maybe if you don't have the space or the ability to keep that room or that area that your fermenter or whatever you're fermenting your beer in at certain temperatures, you can put the submersible thing right on the top of your glass carboy, whatever it is that you might be brewing in, and it'll hold the temperature for you. So this thing is going to, I believe, heat up and do like the initial brewing process. It's also going to keep it steady and hold it so that all the beer inside it has perfect conditions for fermentation and everything. So very, very cool stuff. I'm really curious to see how that goes. I guess that's it. I guess I've brewed a beer. That's really it to get started. I'm going to slide this thing right back underneath my cabinet. It sits right on the countertop. It actually looks pretty cool there. So I'm going to slide it back underneath there and wait. And I'll be back tomorrow, I guess, to add some hops and pitch some yeast. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, stay tuned. More stuff. I don't know if I'm going to edit that right onto the back of this or do separate videos step by step. We'll see. But that's it for day one. That was pretty easy. It smelled pretty good, pouring the grains in. I'm getting really excited for this. I think the hardest part of this is just waiting. That's what I'm getting already. It's just waiting to have good beer come out of this thing. But when it's done, I'm going to feel pretty proud of it. It's going to be mine. So we'll see. Redwood IPA is in the machine. Let's see how it goes. All right, guys, talk to you next time.